Hey guys, welcome back to a new video by Biology with Zangshen. So today we are going to discuss a viewer requested video, which is the Cambridge O-Level 5090/22 May-June 2023 Paper 2 Theory. So again, this is not the IGCSE one, it's the O-Level paper. So there's a viewer who asked me to do this. So if you guys have any papers that you want me to discuss within the bio scope, please write down in the description box below. It will fall under the viewer requested section. So let's start solving this paper. Okay, question 1. Table 1.1 lists 3 of the gases present in the atmosphere. Okay, complete table 1.1 to state the percentage of each gas in the atmosphere. So we learned that oxygen is 21%, carbon dioxide is 0.04%, nitrogen is 78%. Part B. Some foods are packaged in a sealed container that contains a mixture of the same gases, with percentages that are different from those found in atmospheric air. Figure 1.1 shows a diagram of food packaged in this way. This method of food packaging shows the slowdown of decomposition of food. Part 1 suggests how the percentage of one gas named in table 1.1 is changed when used to package food in this way. So when it's sealed, the oxygen levels will decrease, the carbon dioxide will increase, because you don't want to cause oxidation and also aerobic respiration for those decomposers to grow. Okay, part 2. Explain how this change will slow down the decomposition of the food. So there will be a lower rate of aerobic respiration from the decomposer, therefore there is slower and lesser growth from it lah. Part 3. Suggest 2 advantages of slowing down decomposition of packaged food. So longer shelf life and probably lesser food waste, Okay. Question 2. Describe physical digestion in humans and explain its importance. So physical digestion helps to make food into smaller pieces by the process of chewing, biting, or you can say grinding from the help of the teeth. This helps increase the surface area of the food, so it is more easier for it to be chemically digested in the stomach. Okay. B. State the name of the chemical present in the stomach that kills many ingested bacteria. Hydrochloric acid. Part 2. Bacteria that are not killed in the stomach may cause disease. State the term used to describe organisms that cause disease, pathogen, and the type of immunity gained after the infection by organisms that cause disease, active immunity. Because it provides you antibodies to help defend and also long-lasting memory cells. Part C. Disease can be caused by viruses. Yellow fever is an example of a disease caused by a virus. Outline how a weakened form of the virus that causes yellow fever can be used to give a person long-term immunity against the disease. So it's of course by the use of a vaccine through vaccination, which the antigens of the weakened virus will be identified as foreign in the body, triggering the lymphocytes to release antibodies and producing memory cells. Okay. Question 3. The nervous system coordinates and regulates body functions. Figure 3.1 shows 2 diagrams in each showing parts of the nervous system in a human. Okay, they give diagram A and diagram B. Part A. Describe the parts of the nervous system shown in each diagram. So diagram A is the central nervous system, which contains the brain and the spinal cord, not just the spine. Diagram B is peripheral nervous system and it only contains the nerves. Part B. Figure 3.2 shows the junction between 2 neurons. Part 1 name the junction shown in figure 3.2, which is a synapse. So part 2 is draw an arrow on figure 3.2 to show the direction that an impulse will travel. So since the neurotransmitter molecules will be released here, it will be going to this direction. Okay, just to be noted that it will be going to this direction. Okay. Part 3. The distance between 2 neurons shown in figure 3.2 is 0.00003 millimeter. State the distance of units in micrometer. Space for working. So times by 1000, because 1 mm equals to 1000 micrometer. So the answer is 0.03. Part C. Nicotine is a chemical found in a cigarette smoke. A molecule of nicotine has similar shape to a molecule of neurotransmitter. Suggest and explain the effect of nicotine at the junction between 2 neurons. So you don't really need to know anything about drugs here. Just explain as the neurotransmitter molecule being replaced as nicotine, for example. So the nicotine will bind on the receptor protein on the postsynaptic membrane, which then creates an impulse to travel further and to the next synapse to continue the synaptic process. Part 4. Question 4, my bad. Lake Washington in the United States of America is a large freshwater lake. Between 1941 and 1963, an increasing amount of untreated sewage polluted the lake. Part A. Suggest and explain the effect of this untreated sewage on the lake ecosystem. So this will cause eutrophication. The nitrates to leach onto the lake, causing the growth of algae. Eventually, the producer or the algae dies and decomposes, causing the oxygen levels to be reduced and leading to the death of animals. Okay, between 1963 and 1968, new sewage treatment facilities were constructed. By 1968, the amount of untreated sewage entering Lake Washington was reduced to 0. Figure 4.1 shows how the transparency of the water in the lake has changed over time. Water transparency is a measure of how far light travels through water. Okay, calculate the percentage increase in water transparency between 1957 and 1968. So from here, we can see that it definitely has changed. So this is 0.8, this is 3. So use your calculator to calculate it. So since the percentage increase will be 3 minus 0.8 over 0.8 times by 100, you get 275. So the answer is 275%. Okay, part C. One species of fish that lives in Lake Washington is the tree-spine stickleback. Okay, figure 4.2 shows the 3 different distribution patterns of the armor plates on the skin of these fish. Okay, the table 4.1 shows how the distribution patterns of armor plates on the skin of the tree-spine sticklebacks have changed over time. Part 1. Use data from table 4.1 to describe how the distribution patterns of armor plates have changed over time. So the percentage of the low plates have decreased and the percentage of many plates increases. From 1957 to 1975, the medium plates increases. Then from 1975 to 2005, the medium plates remain constant. That's all. Just analyze from the data and just write it down. Okay. Part 2. Armor plates on the skin of a tree-spine stickleback protect it from predators. Describe how the process of natural selection may have caused these changes in the distribution plates over time. Basically, it's just what is natural variation and natural selection, how it caused it. So there is variation in the tree-spine stickleback which caused genetic mutation, making predators increase water transparency, producing offspring for the next generation by passing on its allele. 5 marks. Okay. Question 5. Figure 5.1 is a photomicrograph of the center of a plant root. Okay. A part 1. Identify each of the tissues labeled J and K. So J is the phloem and K is the xylem. Part 2. State the term used to describe the group of tissues labeled L, vascular bundle. Question part 3. State 2 ways in which the structure of a cell in tissue K will differ from a cell in tissue J. So does the xylem have thicker walls than the phloem? The xylem contains a lignin, but the phloem doesn't have. Okay. Part 4. Outline the function of tissue J. So tissue J is a phloem. So the function undergoes translocation where it transports sucrose and amino acids from source to sink. Okay. B. Part 1. Name the type of response shown by a plant root when it grows down into the soil after the seed has been germinated. Positive, gravitropism. Okay, if you write gravitropism only, you get 1 mark. Since they say 2 mark, it says grown down into the soil, which is positive already, not growing up. If it's growing up, it will be negative. Okay, part 2. Explain how this response shown by the plant root is necessary for the leaves to grow and to appear green. So you know that this is linking to photosynthesis. So it absorbs water and mineral ions to allow cell elongation. It also helps to undergo photosynthesis due to the chlorophyll pigment in the leaves. This is useful to produce amino acids for growth. Okay. Question 6. Figure 6.1 shows the pattern of results from an investigation into the effect of increasing light intensity on the rate of photosynthesis. Describe and explain the patterns of result between a light intensity of 20 and 30 arbitrary units. So the results are at a constant rate when it's at 20 to 30 because light intensity is not a limiting factor anymore. Okay. B. The investigation was repeated with an increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Draw a curve on figure 6.1 to show the pattern of result that we expect from this second investigation. You go higher a bit. So once you go higher, then there will be a higher rate of photosynthesis. State the name of the product of photosynthesis that contain carbon atoms. So we know that it's the only one is C6H12O6. We know it's glucose. Part 3. Outline the uses made by a plant of named carbohydrates. So we know that carbohydrates produced is glucose, sucrose, cellulose. So now say what is the function for these. So the carbohydrate glucose can be used for respiration to release energy. It also acts as a starch for storage and to make amino acids. The cellulose can be used to make cell wall, and the sucrose is converted from glucose, can be used for transport in translocation. Okay. Question 7. DNA carries genetic information in the form of genes. Part A. The paragraph below describes the structure of a DNA molecule. DNA contains the chemical elements carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Two strands of DNA coiled together to form a double helix. Each strand is made up of a chain of nucleotides. Bonds between pairs of bases hold the strands together. These bases always pair up in the same way, T with A and G with C. Okay. B. Explain how genetic modification can be used to change the function of an enzyme so that it acts on a different substrate. So genetic modification is the change of a genetic material. Enzymes are proteins where the gene helps to code it according to the changing sequence of the amino acids. This helps to determine the shape of the active site, so it's complementary to fit a newer substrate. Okay. So that's all for this video. So I think this paper, okay, it's a bit different to the classic biology syllabus in IGCSE. There's something that's been added here, and of course the paper styling is different. For us, paper 2 is a multiple choice question, and their paper 2 is a theory paper. So I think it's fine, not that bad. So if you guys want any other videos, please drop down in the comments below, and I will try to do it for you guys. Okay, see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.